This is the first video in my short series on how to write a song. 2 or 3 notes before we get started. First of all, this video, if you're watching it on YouTube, ties in with a blog post on jamcast.co.uk. Here's the address. Secondly, you'll notice that if you have seen my videos before, you'll notice that I'm using the virtual keyboard rather than filming my piano from above. That's purely so that you can get a clearer view of the keys I'm working with and the harmonies I'm using, because obviously writing about songwriting, it's really important that you can focus on the actual notes. Okay, how does this all work? Well, I've written a song from scratch, which I'm going to take you through step by step as an example of one way of writing a song. I should stress it's not the only way of writing a song, but it's one way, and hopefully it will give you some ideas and some inspiration. There's no definite step list, but hopefully if you see the way I do this, and it's a way other people write songs as well, it'll give you some sense of how it can be achieved. Okay, so this song I've written, it hasn't got a name yet. We'll give it one in a later tutorial. It didn't hit me in a flash of inspiration. It was more a case of it emerging as I sat and played around on the piano. I put some chords together, developed a hook, added some more chords, and before long I had a good provisional structure for my song. We're going to look at developing that structure in this video, and in later videos we'll deal with things like writing lyrics and creating an arrangement. First of all, a really key point: if you want to write good songs, having a decent level of competence with your instrument is a big help. If you can sit down and mess about on your keyboard or guitar without having to stop and figure out where different notes and chords are, you can work up ideas easily and get stuff down before your inspiration disappears. So practice. You know, the better you get, the better a songwriter you'll become. In this tutorial and the ones that follow it, I'm going to assume that you have a basic knowledge of chords and music theory. If you don't, now's a good time to explore Jamcast and other sites like it to improve your understanding of the basics. You might write some decent songs if you only know a few chords, but knowing a little bit about music theory, knowing some more advanced stuff, will take you a long, long way, up to a professional songwriting level. Okay, let's look at this song that I've written with the tutorials in mind. As I said, what happened was that I sat down at the piano and I was just playing around. Specifically, I was experimenting with ninth chords, a particular type of harmony we've dealt with before on Jamcast. Okay, here is the URL for that post. I started off playing an E9 and began alternating it with an A9 that had an added sixth. So E9, A9 with an added sixth. You'll see all I'm actually doing is changing my left hand from E and B to C sharp and A. That has the effect of changing the chord. Okay, if those chord names don't make a lot of sense to you, if they're a bit new, a bit weird and wonderful, don't worry too much. The important thing is to have the confidence to play the chords and create them on your piano or guitar. If you don't know their names, you can use tools like allguitarchords.com or the Piano World chords tool and work out what they are. Okay, so having played around with my 2 chords, I wound up with a hook that sounds a bit like this. Here's the chord sequence, four bars of 2-2 time. That's quite a steady 2 in the bar beat, because this is turning out to be a moderately paced ballad kind of song. Again, the rhythm I've got there is just a result of noodling around, having a bit of confidence in my ability to play my instrument that's born of some experimentation and practice. So again, practice your instrument, because the better player you are, the better songwriter you'll become. Okay, got my hook. Where do I go from there? Well, the song needs to move away from the hook and into a development phase, moving towards a chord like B major or B major 7th. That'll give us the feeling that we've reached the end of a phrase or a section before resolving back to the tonic chord, that's E major, or E9 in this case, but basically E major. If you're not sure how chord resolution works, we have a post on it on Jamcast, so now might be a good time to have a look at that. Okay, now we've got this far, you need to move on to the next movie in my video stream. It applies to the same post on Jamcast, that's this one, in case you hadn't noticed. And there we'll talk about how we're going to move from the hook towards that B major chord.